Welcome to GM. It's our pleasure to have you as our guest today. As a visitor, your safety is of utmost importance. In fact, when it comes to every one of our employees' and guests' safety, for us, it's personal. We are committed to returning everyone who works or visits our sites home safely to his or her family and friends. Every person, every site, every day. In the next few minutes, we'll cover some basic safety requirements aimed at protecting you and the employees that work here. We ask that you take these requirements seriously, because at GM, safety is a value that's everyone's responsibility. Stay safe and enjoy your visit. Safety. It's personal. Own it. At GM, all of our sites follow certain basic safety requirements. However, site, country, and regional requirements can be unique. So there may be specific safety requirements at this site that are different from other GM sites. Your host will explain these to you shortly. During your visit, please stay in contact with your host. He or she should know where you are at all times. This is especially important in case of an emergency. In the event of an emergency, we want you to be safe. All GM sites have emergency response plans that direct us to react in different emergency situations, such as fire, severe weather, chemical spills, or medical emergencies. Your host will explain the types of emergencies that could happen at this site, how you must respond, and guide you to the appropriate safe location. While here, if you need any type of emergency help, call the site's emergency phone number, which will be given to you. GM puts a great amount of effort into eliminating hazards at our operations wherever possible. However, due to the nature of some of our processes, not all hazards can be eliminated. For this reason, you must stay alert for conditions that may exist at this site or others, such as noise, flying objects, chemicals, sharp metal, molten metal, moving vehicles and equipment, and slip, trip, and fall hazards. Where hazards cannot be eliminated, personal protective equipment, or PPE, is used to help keep you safe. Depending on which areas you go on the site, you may be asked to wear certain types of PPE before entering. This may include sturdy closed-toed footwear or safety shoes, safety glasses, hearing protection, special clothing or gloves. Your host will provide you with the appropriate PPE during your visit and help you use it correctly. For your safety, please follow these requirements at all times. When pedestrians and mobile equipment collide, equipment always wins. Mobile equipment and pedestrian collision is one of the greatest concerns for visitor safety at our sites. Therefore, we are very careful in areas where people and mobile equipment share the same space. In manufacturing and test areas, solid lines identify aisleways. Main aisles have a pedestrian area marked to one side. Stay in pedestrian walkways at all times. In areas that do not have marked pedestrian walkways, stay to one side of the aisle to reduce the chance of colliding with moving equipment. Never use your cell phone or wireless communication device while walking. Before entering aisles, stop and look in all directions for hazards. Do the same when approaching blind spot areas, such as intersections, corners, doorways, or any other areas where your view could be blocked. Be aware that pedestrians do not necessarily have the right of way. When you need to cross an aisle and there is moving equipment nearby, make eye contact with the equipment operator. Then, wait for the operator to acknowledge you or wave you across before you move. Never assume an operator can see you. If you need to approach a mobile equipment driver, follow our 2-foot rule, which requires pedestrians to stay at least this distance from a vehicle at all times. This creates a safety zone that protects your feet if the vehicle suddenly moves. Be aware that this site has designated orange crush zones on our docks and other material storage areas. They are identified by orange markings on the floor and signs. These areas are very dangerous for people to be in, so pedestrian traffic is strictly limited. As a visitor to our site, you must never enter one of these areas without an authorized escort. Some areas at this site may have restricted access. These areas are marked with warning signs, safety gates, or fencing. Obey all signs and warnings and stay out of restricted areas. Please note that smoking is generally not allowed inside our sites. Your host can direct you to designated smoking areas if necessary. This site has a very detailed chemical management system designed to ensure that everything we do protects the environment and the people at our site. Absolutely no chemical materials, including samples, are permitted to enter the site without a safety data sheet approved ahead of time by the Site Chemical Control Committee. Globally, GM strives to reduce injuries to zero and to eliminate fatalities at every one of our sites. Our goal is clear: zero injuries, zero fatalities, period. In order to help with our efforts, we ask that you report any unsafe act or condition you notice while at our site. Your input is just as valuable to us as our employees and contractors. Something you report could alert our site that we need to fix a condition or process in order to prevent a future incident or injury. If you see anything that concerns you, please tell your host immediately. If you will be performing work at our site, you may be required to take additional safety training and must follow safe work practices at all times. This includes following proper work procedures and wearing the correct PPE for the task you are completing. Your host will review this with you. Office and conference room safety is just as important to us as it is in other areas of our site. Be alert to hazards in these areas, and please do not block walkways or create trip hazards with your personal belongings. We take great pride in our products, people, and our sites. As a leader in the automotive industry, we also want to be the global leader in workplace safety. Help us achieve our goal by following the safety expectations that have just been shared, including any additional safety requirements given by your host. Keeping employees, contractors, service providers, and visitors safe at GM starts with each of us. But it takes all of us to live values that return people home safely. Every person, every site, every day.